Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia Season 3, Episode 9. And yeah, this was definitely a freaking insane episode. Like, there was something always happening, something was always going on, and it kept things high. Like, there's always something going on that never felt like it ever really took a break, even in the more like slower moments. Like, holy shit. Um, but yeah. So so I'll start off by saying this. No lie, the beginning of this episode with that reporter felt mildly frustrating for me because as someone who has taken news broadcasting in college, let's just say I was actually kind of disgusted in the lengths that reporter was willing to go in order to smear you away. Like, it's just like, of course, the whole media thing. It's always something that's been overblown. Definitely, especially in this particular era But it's like, yeah, that dude was a straight up asshole. Though, although, and I'm willing to be fair. For a moment, I was kind of on his side until he asked about Bakugo and probed even further, and decided to probe even further after Aizawa gave him an answer. Like he was clearly looking for, like he clearly had like his basically own agenda of saying like, yeah, I'm here to basically smear you guys. I wanna fuck UA shit up. I want to write the most disastrous story that'll shut you guys down. Like, yeah, you can clearly see that's what the guy was doing. But which honestly, I would have loved to see the reporter's reaction to what Bakugo said to the League of Villains in this episode. Like, it would just be if it would just be amazing to see his reaction to the icing on the cake. To see his reaction as to how Bakugo rejected them. Although, knowing him, I think he would still probably find some fucking way to twist it around. I bet. And I'll be honest, the saddest thing is, like I said, that the reporter, as well as that whole scene, does kind of represent what's going on in the media as a whole today. I'm not even gonna lie about that. But okay, I'm done with the controversial talk. Let's get into the episode itself. Um, and after that, we basically cut to what's going on with Bakugo and the villains. And the one thing I liked about that scene in particular is that we really do see how he thinks in battle. And this is something that isn't new. We basically know how smart Bakugo is. He's shown it time. We've basically seen how basically tactical and smart Bakugo is in battle. Like, we've seen this time and time again. We know how smart he is, and we know he's a lot more sensible than he appears. But it was kind of a nice little touch. It was just a nice little extra touch to showcase that there is in fact a lot more behind his explosive personality. And whether or not people like Bakugo or not, hopefully, and to those people out there who don't, even to those people who don't like Bakugo out there, hopefully this and what happened at the end of last episode, are enough to get the non-believers off his back by saying, oh, Bakugo isn't. But Bakugo is pretty much just a straight up Sasuke or Vegeta ripoff. Like, yeah, I hope this kind of gets people to kind of at least accept him, even the non-believers, to get them to accept him just a little bit more, because there is definitely a lot more to Bakugo than there's a lot more to Bakugo if you definitely if you look past the surface of what Bakugo is. You guys will, a lot of the non-believers, I think, are going to find something interesting about him for sure. At least that one extra thing. And after those two scenes, though, the episode very quickly picks up, and I mean very quickly picks up, between Izuku and his group discovering the Nomu factory and the heroes arriving on the scene. Like, every single moment was just shit constantly hitting the fan. It was just insane, over and over and over again. And one thing I liked about the whole scene of the heroes arriving to rescue Bakugo is just how coordinated everything was, from the villains being captured to the Nomu factory being destroyed. Everything just felt like just happened like clockwork. And I dare say that I dare say that basically that whole that every, all the entire scene of the heroes arriving on the scene, just doing their thing and whatnot. I dare say that was actually one of the better showcases of teamwork I've seen in Shonen so far, and yet it didn't. And yet, of course, it didn't shy away from showing just how quickly far south things could go, even with such a coordinated attack. When we pretty much see the surprise Nomu attack come into play, and All for One make his grand appearance, and like I said, and that and that I think also plays into another thing I liked about this episode is that it didn't. It pretty much showed the operation from all angles. It showed what All Might's team was doing. It pretty much showed what happened to Best Genius, and basically how the and basically how pretty much the Nomus, how basically all those Nomus managed to survive, managed to arrive on the scene. Like the one thing I think this episode showed is that it didn't shy away in actually getting into the specifics of how everything was happened. And to be honest with you, I feel that is, in a way, like, okay, I love all the other shonens like Naruto, like Naruto and Bleach and whatnot. But I feel that with something like Naruto, his biggest weakness was it never really. It never. There were times where it did show how all things were done, but it didn't show it enough. With My Hero Academia, I feel it is actually showing us how everything is done. And even though some people might find that boring and they just want to get to the fighting, I definitely feel it is good to definitely showcase. People are doing this. People are doing this. People are doing this, and it's pretty much all important setup in order for the big. In order for the big bombastic stuff to happen. So yeah, in a way, I really gotta appreciate My Hero Academia for just showing it in a very simplistic way of basically how everything is done and what's going on with pretty much in each and every scene. Honestly, I do find that very strangely enjoyable. And like I said, one of the key things in this episode is that we see All for One make his grand fucking appearance, and oh boy, All for you guys, like, okay, if the preview and when, like, we'll talk about the preview later, but if the preview and just the end parts of this episode with him mimicking his appearance weren't enough for you guys are in for a fucking treat with this guy, because, like, All for One to me has always, as a manga reader, I'll say, All for One to me has always been that villain who, All for One has been that one villain where he doesn't give a fuck that he's a villain. He just enjoys being evil, and it's like, All for One in his own ways, and I like the sympathetic villains, sure, but All for One in his own way is still sympathetic, but he's sympathetic in another way, and he's just an awesome character. I'm just gonna shut up. I'm just gonna let you guys experience it, because trust me, it's gonna be insane. Oh. Now, the one thing we do get a further look in this episode is pretty much how All for One ended up meeting Shigaraki, and from the looks of how it happened, right? Which from the looks of it, it looks like the two of them met almost immediately after his father died, and the jury is still out on how it happened. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised. If pretty much Shigaraki killed his own father from his quirk manifesting. But if Shigaraki killed his own father from pretty much his quirk manifesting, like it pretty much, I'm saying Shigaraki killed his father, but it all pretty much happened on accident. But back to him meeting All for One, I can safely say that one scene of Shigaraki and All for One meeting basically said all you needed to know about the circumstances of pretty much how he pretty much became of how a kid who was so beaten down and so traumatized ended up becoming a villain, because it was just in one simple scene with extremely limited dialogue that you basically saw all you needed to know. Because when you really look at that scene, it all boils down to who got to Shigaraki first. if All Might, or hell, even just a police officer, consoled Shigaraki in his time of need at that point, then maybe, just maybe, it's a very slim maybe, mind you, even then, but maybe he would have gone down a different path, but because All for One pretty much Shigaraki got twisted, but because All for One found him, pretty much Shigaraki ended up getting twisted into a criminal and a villain. So it's like, yeah, it really showcases how one single person can pretty much change your life. It doesn't matter who it is, whether or not it's for good or bad. That one person does have the potential in order to lead you down, a path, and that one single person that does have the potential to lead you down either a path, no matter what path it is. And the thing is that there are definitely a lot of parallels we can definitely draw between how All for One and Shigaraki met, and how Izuku and All Might met. Like, it's basically those two scenes those two scenes of Izuku and All Might meeting, and Shigaraki and All Might and All for One meeting. They're basically two sides of the exact same coin. It's basically how one became a villain and one became a hero, and yeah, it's just incredible. Okay, so I've talked about that at length. Let's talk about. Okay, so I don't normally talk about this, but I want to talk a little bit about the preview for the next episode, specifically about the headgear that we see All for One wearing is sporting in that preview. And honestly, it's one of those things where you can clearly see the original creator Kohei Horikoshi's nerdy love for everything Star Wars and superhero related coming full circle, because All for One's headgear is just a straight up tribute or homage to Darth Vader's mask and Bane's headpiece. Like, it just takes influence from pretty much both of these from both of these characters, and they're on both sides of what Horikoshi loves so much. Like, honestly, I've seen one interview. I think it was taken off YouTube though. I've seen one interview on YouTube. I think it was taken off though, of an interview with pretty much Kohei Horikoshi, the mangaka of My Hero Academia, and like the dude's office is littered. Like, it's plastered with pretty much every kind of Star Wars and superhero and superhero like stuff you could ever imagine. Like, it's a total haven for any Star Wars or superhero fan. It's just incredible. Like, and he's not biased against Marvel or DC. He has all that shit too. So yeah, like, yeah, it's just that's an amazing little tidbit about the original creator, to be sure. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Facebook. That's Night of Anime. Signing off. Later, guys.